I am Cordelia Running. I am an associate professor in the nutrition science department at Purdue University. So the history of pumpkin spice is a little bit complicated. The real popularity craze around it as pumpkin spice, so to speak, probably started with the marketing campaign from Starbucks launching the pumpkin spice latte in around 2004. I think they did some pilot work in 2003, but 2004 is when they really they found their prize pony there. But even before then, pumpkin spice, the blend of spices, has been really popular for centuries, if not millennia. So early in the 1900s, somewhere around 1930, I think, the McCormick Company actually started packaging together this blend of nutmeg and cinnamon and clove, maybe some allspice and certainly some ginger, which we now think of as our sort of quintessential pumpkin spice flavoring. And so again, this has become an important part of sort of the fall season for a lot of people, not for everyone. And so that kind of brings us to the sort of the hater perspective, the people who don't like pumpkin spice. And I think that's just a natural cultural phenomenon that we have, especially, you know, in the age of the internet where we can complain about stuff and there's not a huge backlash against us. We can remain anonymous. You know, anytime something becomes a cultural phenomenon, there's going to be a group of people who are like, oh, I just can't stand that. Pumpkin spice nutritionally, short answer, no. It's probably not good for you. Not in the sorts of foods you're going to find it, especially where it's going to be labeled pumpkin spice. The caveat to that, the long answer for that, is that these spices that are that we blended together into this sort of quintessential fall flavor have a long history of medicinal use in the indigenous cultures that, you know, the Europeans took them from. And there certainly are molecules within these spices, within nutmeg and cinnamon and clove and allspice and ginger, that have medicinal properties. And so they might be anti-cancer, or they might help calm your stomach if you're feeling nauseated. But you have to eat a lot of these spices to get those sort of positive nutritional outcomes, and you'd have to eat them frequently. You know, your pumpkin spice latte, probably not going to do anything good for you in the long run. But again, using these as part of your cuisine on a regular basis could be very helpful. In fact, some people have had a lot of success doing things like using spices to reduce their salt intake, for example. And so there are little ways that you can use it to improve your health, to improve your diet. But in general, just finding the label on a package, pumpkin spice, no, there's no inherent positive health outcomes related to that. Well, I'm going to be a bit of a crazy scientist here on the question of whether pumpkin spice is an acquired taste and why that is. And I would argue as a scientist that everything is an acquired taste. So from the scientific perspective, there's very few things that we innately, like, are biologically hardwired to really enjoy or really avoid. And so innately, we like sweetness. Innately, we dislike bitterness. But we learn to adapt our preferences based on our experiences and our culture and the world in which we have the flavors that become part of our foods. And so the idea that pumpkin spice is an acquired taste, yeah, it's an acquired taste, but so is everything that you eat.